Imagine being at the absolute peak of your career, earning $2 million a year, closing Dior couture shows, having Karl Lagerfeld personally fit dresses on you.
I always pictured my name in bright light.
And then one morning, you wake up and can't get out of bed. Not because you partied too hard the night before, not because you're burned out from another 16-hour shoot, but because your body is literally shutting down from the inside and nobody knows why. This is what happened to Shalom Harlow. But let me back up, because to understand why her comeback at 44 made grown fashion editors cry.
This was my return to modeling after 10 years of an illness in which I recovered from late-stage Lyme and severe black mold poisoning, and so I was not working for close to 10 years.
You need to know who she was before she disappeared. And trust me, this isn't your typical model story. This is about a girl who wanted to be an astronaut, accidentally became fashion's most unlikely muse, and then had to fight for her life in ways that would make your darkest runway show look like a tea party. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll understand why Donatella Versace herself said Shalom was 1 in a million, and why that might actually be an understatement. December 5th, 1973. Oshawa, Ontario. A baby girl is born to parents who are, well, let's just say they're not your typical suburban couple. They name her Shalom, which means peace in Hebrew. Because of course they do. These are full-on hippies living in a commune outside Toronto, and little Shalom is growing up surrounded by creativity, vegetarianism, and probably more tie-dye than any child should be exposed to. Her mom, Sandy, works with developmentally disabled adults. Her dad, David, bounces between jobs. There's no fashion magazines lying around, no dreams of runways or supermodel status. In fact, young Shalom has her sights set on something completely different. She wants to be an astronaut. Yes, you heard that right. While other future models are practicing their poses in the mirror, Shalom is dreaming about floating in space. But here's where it gets interesting. Her parents enroll her in ballet classes because that's what you do with little girls who have too much energy, right? Except Shalom has other ideas. Ballet was too restrictive, she'd later say. Too many rules, too much perfection required. So what does she do? She switches to tap dancing. Why? Because I loved the noise it created. Can we just pause here for a second? This kid chose tap over ballet because she wanted to make noise. Remember that detail. It's going to matter later when she's making the fashion world lose its collective mind. She's also taking jazz dance, basically trying everything except the one thing that requires you to be quiet and perfect. Her teachers probably thought she was a handful. Shalom, point your toes. But what if I make them louder instead? Growing up in this bohemian bubble, Shalom and her 2 younger brothers are living this alternative lifestyle that's about as far from the fashion world as you can get. There's no Vogue magazines, no obsessing over designers, just a tall, gangly girl with dark hair making noise with her feet and dreaming about space. The vegetarianism thing? That starts early too. This isn't some model diet trend. This is genuine hippie commune, we don't eat our animal friends lifestyle. She's probably munching on Sprouts while other kids are eating McDonald's. It's the kind of childhood that either makes you incredibly grounded or sends you running to the nearest Chanel boutique the second you turn 18. For Shalom, it did both. Fast forward to 1990. Shalom is 16, about to turn 17, and she's at a concert in Toronto. The Cure is playing, because of course she's into The Cure. She's a teenager in 1990. Robert Smith is on stage being magnificently gloomy. And this is where fate decides to show up wearing a modeling scout disguise. Some random person approaches her in the crowd. Have you ever thought about modeling? Now imagine being Shalom in this moment. You're just trying to enjoy some goth rock with your friends, maybe sway dramatically to pictures of you, and suddenly someone's suggesting you could be a model.
In Toronto, I was at The Cure, and a talent scout came up to me and asked me if I was a model or if I was interested in it.
The same girl who chose tap dancing because it was loud. The same girl who wants to be an astronaut. But something clicks. Maybe it's curiosity, maybe it's timing, maybe it's just teenage why not? Energy. But Shalom says yes to meeting with an agency. And just like that, the astronaut dreams get put on hold. Here's what's wild though. Her look is completely wrong for the era. This is 1990, remember? The age of Cindy Crawford, Claudia Schiffer, the Amazonian bombshells. And here comes Shalom with her dark hair, her unconventional beauty, looking more like she belongs in an indie band than on a magazine cover. The fashion world doesn't know what to do with her at first. She's too edgy for commercial, too unique for catalog work. But sometimes being different is exactly what the universe has planned for you. Within a year, she's working. By 1993, she lands her first magazine cover, Fashion Magazine in Canada. Small victories, right? Except by 1994, she's walking in Valentino's Haute Couture show in Paris. Let that sink in. From discovered at a concert to haute couture in 4 years, the trajectory is insane.
I started coming to do shows in New York. New York had a pretty electric energy then. It was the early 90s, and there was a lot of really fun theatrical types that were designing, and so the runway kind of became this stage for all of these mega model personalities to flaunt their stuff.
One day, you're a teenager at a Cure concert. The next, you're backstage in Paris with seamstresses literally sewing you into a $50,000 dress. No modeling school, no years of preparation. Just raw talent, and that's something special that makes designers stop mid-sketch and go, her. I need her. And then Gianni Versace sees her. By the mid-90s, she's not just walking in Versace shows, she's closing them. But here's a detail that matters. Versace doesn't just see her as a clothes hanger. He sees her as an artist, a collaborator. When she walks, she's not just modeling. She's interpreting his vision, adding her own spin. That tap dancer who loved making noise? She's found a new stage. And in spring 1997, something happens that even by supermodel standards is pretty extraordinary. Picture this, the Versace Atelier show, the finale. Models are walking out for the final bow, and there's Shalom, arm in arm with Gianni himself. The designer and his muse together on the runway. Fashion editors are losing their minds. This isn't just modeling anymore. This is fashion history being written in real time. By 1995, she wins the first ever VH1/Vogue Model of the Year award. The first, ever, beating out every other model of the moment. The girl who wanted to be an astronaut is now fashion's newest obsession. But here's the thing about Shalom. She was never really alone in this journey. Enter Amber Valletta, another model who's been labeled an anti-supermodel because apparently having a personality and not looking like a Barbie doll was revolutionary in the 90s. Shalom and Amber meet as young models and something just clicks. They're not competing, they're not playing the catty model game that everyone expects. They genuinely become best friends, like actual friends, the kind who give themselves a combined nickname. Shalomber is born. Yes, they really called themselves that. And before you roll your eyes, remember this is the 90s. Everything had a cute portmanteau name. But this friendship was different. In an industry that thrives on competition and backstabbing, these two are out here supporting each other, working together, literally becoming a package deal. Photographers notice it immediately. When you book one, you want the other. They have this chemistry that you can't fake, probably because they're actually having fun instead of secretly hoping the other trips on the runway. 1996 rolls around and MTV comes calling. House of Style needs new hosts, and who better than the two anti-supermodels who are actually changing what it means to be a supermodel? Shalom and Amber take over the show, bringing fashion to the masses while wearing band tees and actually having conversations about things other than lip gloss. Watching them on House of Style, you got the sense that these weren't just pretty faces reading cue cards. They had opinions. They had humor. Shalom would show up to set, and producers would just let her be herself, because herself was more interesting than any character they could write. Photographers are obsessed with shooting them together. Designers book them as a pair. It's like fashion finally figured out that women can actually be friends and successful at the same time. Revolutionary, I know. And this friendship? It's not some 90s phase. We're talking 30-plus years later, they're still tight. Still calling each other twisted sisters. Still showing up for each other. In a world where model friendships usually last about as long as a fashion season, Shalomber is still going strong. When they reunite for magazine covers now, it's not just nostalgia. It's proof that some bonds transcend trends, careers, and time itself. In March 1999, London. Alexander McQueen is about to present his spring/summer collection, titled Number, 13 inches. If you know anything about McQueen, you know he doesn't do normal. But even by his standards, what's about to happen is insane. Shalom gets a call. McQueen wants her for his show. Not just in his show, for the moment of his show. Here's the catch. She's in New York. The show is tomorrow in London. She hops on a red-eye flight, lands that morning, goes straight to the venue. "What am I doing exactly?" she asks. "Just trust me," McQueen says. No rehearsal, no run-through, nothing. McQueen knew about her dance background. He knew she could move, could interpret, could create in the moment. But what he's asking her to do is insane, even by his standards. The show starts. Model after model walks out in McQueen's creations. The audience is already impressed. This is McQueen after all. Then the lights dim. The audience goes quiet. Something's happening. A platform rises from the floor, and there's Shalom in a simple white strapless dress. Beautiful, yes, but simple, almost virgin-like in its purity. Then everyone sees them, two massive robotic arms on either side of her, the kind used in car factories to spray paint vehicles. The audience is confused, intrigued. Some are probably terrified. The platform starts rotating. Shalom starts moving. The robots wake up. What happens next is pure magic. These mechanical arms start spraying black and yellow paint at her, and Shalom, remember the tap dancer who loved making noise? She doesn't just stand there. She moves. She sways. She raises her arms like she's defending herself, like she's dancing with these machines. The paint is hitting her dress, her skin, her hair. She's spinning with the platform, but also creating her own movement. It's violent and beautiful. Organic meeting mechanical. Human versus machine, but also human with machine. No choreography, no practice. Just pure instinct meets art, meets fashion. When it's over, when Shalom stands there covered in paint, her white dress now a Jackson Pollock painting, her body a canvas, the audience erupts. Standing ovation. People are shaking. McQueen would later call it one of his proudest moments.
London, straight off the red eye, was showing some rotating platform and told I was gonna stand on it. Well, I got sprayed in spray paint, and that was the download. That's all the information I got. There was no rehearsal. I didn't hear the music. I did not know the amount of time, sequence that would be involved. This was purely, spontaneously improvised, every moment of it.
Fashion historians still reference it as one of the greatest runway moments of all time. It's been copied, referenced, homaged, but never duplicated. And Shalom? She just created history with no rehearsal, on no sleep, using nothing but her childhood dance training and raw instinct. That's not modeling, that's art. 2012, Shalom closes Alexander Wang's fall show. She takes her bow, walks backstage, and then nothing. No Instagram posts, no paparazzi shots, no new campaigns. Shalom Harlow, who's been a constant in fashion for over 20 years, just vanishes. Fashion forums start buzzing. Where's Shalom? Did she retire? Is she okay? Some people assume she's just over it. Maybe she's finally pursuing that astronaut dream. Others worry something's wrong. Here's what they didn't know. Shalom was fighting for her life. It started subtly. Fatigue that wouldn't go away. Body aches that felt different from the usual post-show exhaustion. Then it got worse. Way worse. Turns out, Shalom had late-stage Lyme disease. If you don't know what that's like, imagine your body attacking itself from the inside while doctors tell you it's all in your head. Now add black mold poisoning from a contaminated house in Big Sur. Your immune system is shot. Your nervous system is haywire. You can't get out of bed. This isn't some celebrity exhaustion story. This is a 40-year-old woman who's been at the top of her game, suddenly unable to function. Bedridden, desperate, watching her life disappear while her body rebels against her. The mold in her house, it's literally poisoning her every day, and she doesn't even know it. She's living in this beautiful Big Sur home, This place that's supposed to be her sanctuary, and it's slowly killing her. The irony is brutal. The illness is so severe, so prolonged, that Shalom develops CPTSD. That's complex post-traumatic stress disorder, usually associated with war veterans or abuse survivors. But when your body becomes a battlefield for years, when you don't know if you'll ever work again, ever walk a runway again, ever be yourself again, that's trauma too. 8 years of this. No public statements, no dramatic Instagram revelations, just silence. Shalom Harlow, the woman who made fashion history with robots and spray paint, is now fighting a battle nobody can see. Doctors, treatments, dead ends, hope followed by crushing disappointment. Days blend into months, blend into years. The fashion world moves on. New models rise. Trends change. And Shalom? She's just trying to survive. Friends check in, but what do you say? Hey, I still can't get out of bed. Yeah, still. No, they don't know why. The repetition alone is exhausting. The fact that I made it through and was able to regain my health and strength is quite a substantial accomplishment, she'd later say. Understatement of the century. September 2018. Milan Fashion Week. Versace Spring 2019 show. Backstage is chaos, as always. Models getting sewn into dresses. Makeup artists performing miracles. Donatella making last-minute adjustments. But there's a different energy tonight. A secret. The music starts. Models walk. It's a strong show, typical Versace glamour. The audience is into it, but Fashion Week is long and people are tired. They think they know what's coming. Then, for the finale, the lights dim slightly. One more model appears. It's Shalom. Shalom, in a black gown, walking like she never left. Like the past 6 years didn't happen. Like she didn't just fight her way back from the edge. The audience loses it. Standing ovation. People are crying. And not the polite fashion tears. Real, ugly crying. Because everyone knows what this means. Shalom Harlow is back. But here's the beautiful part. After the show, Donatella Versace has her team film Shalom during the campaign shoot. There's this video of Shalom dancing, just dancing, spinning, laughing, living, in her Versace dress. They post it on Instagram. It goes viral immediately. Why? Because you can see it in her face. This isn't just a model posing. This is a woman who almost lost everything celebrating the fact that she's still here, still moving, still creating beauty. The dancing, it's not choreographed, it's pure joy. The same girl who chose tap because she loved making noise is now making the most beautiful noise of all, the sound of someone who survived. Comments pour in from models, designers, fans. Everyone's talking about her energy, her joy, how incredible she looks. But if you really watch that video, if you know what she's been through, you see something else. You see someone who chose tap over ballet because she wanted to make noise, now making the loudest statement of all. I'm still here. 2023. Shalom appears on the cover of Vogue. Not a retrospective issue. Not a Remember the 90s special. The May issue, honoring Karl Lagerfeld, and she's right there next to current supermodels half her age. 50 years old and still booking Vogue covers. Let that sink in. But here's what makes Shalom different from other comeback stories. She's not trying to relive her glory days. She's not desperately clinging to relevance. She works when she wants, with who she wants, on her terms. Working every day in a healthy body close to my 5th decade, that's the career highlight, she said in a recent interview. Not the McQueen show, not the Versace campaigns, not the millions earned, just being healthy enough to work. When you've spent 8 years fighting for your life, your priorities shift. These days, Shalom picks her projects carefully. A fashion show here, a campaign there. She's not chasing anything. After everything she's been through, she doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. Young models study videos of her walk. Fashion students write thesis papers about the McQueen performance. Designers who weren't even born when she started modeling now beg her to walk their shows. She's transcended trends, transcended eras, transcended the very idea of what a model career looks like. When she does work, it's an event. Not because of manufactured hype, but because people genuinely want to see her. There's a reverence now, a recognition that they're watching living history. Shalomber is still going strong. 30 years of friendship in an industry that usually measures relationships in seasons. Amber and Shalom did a Vogue cover together in 2023, looking at each other like they're still those young girls who gave themselves a ridiculous portmanteau name. They have inside jokes that span decades. They've been through everything together. The rise, the struggles, the comebacks. When Shalom was sick, Amber was one of the few people who knew. That's real friendship. What's remarkable about Shalom now isn't just that she's still working. It's that she's still evolving, still surprising people, still choosing to make noise over following rules. The girl who wanted to be an astronaut never made it to space, but she did something maybe even more impossible. She survived fashion, illness, time itself, and came out the other side still dancing. Some models become famous, some become iconic. But Shalom Harlow? She became something else entirely. She became proof that real beauty isn't about perfection or youth or playing by the rules. It's about survival. It's about friendship. It's about making noise when everyone expects you to be silent. It's about being the girl who chose tap-over ballet and turned that choice into a philosophy for life. And if that's not one in a million, I don't know what is.